All right, here we are with the vanilla backdrop CMS installation we did last time. The only difference between it is I reinstalled it because since the last time 1.8 came out, last time we did it with 1.7, so latest and the greatest, but it should look about the same. Haven't made any other changes, but I'd like to demonstrate briefly some of the capabilities of the powerful new layouts functionality that backdrop CMS brings. For just a minute here before I get to that, I'm going to just fill in a bit of content here because examples always look nicer if you have something other than, the plain installation here. So let me just back up and explain what I'm doing here. All right, so we have this area here with the welcome to vanilla and the blue background is called a hero block. It's installed by default. And when you hover over it, if you look in the corner over here, you'll see a little gear appears if you're logged in as the administrator. You can click on that and go straight to the configure block page, which takes you to, in the background, you'll see the layout display, which we'll talk more about later. But in this case, we're jumping straight into the edit block functionality for one block in this layout. And I'm going to click and add an image that I downloaded here, and then we have the display title. It says welcome to vanilla. We can leave it at that, and then I'm just going to add a little subtext here because the people who run this site want everybody to know vanilla is best. And I'm going to save the layout. We'll discuss more about the other portions here of the layout panel later. So you can see pretty quickly here how much the visual can change with the background image, and you can put the little text you want there. And then I'm going to add a couple other things just so that I have what I need to work with for what I'd like to show you about the layouts. So I'm going to add a taxonomy vocabulary, which is under structure and taxonomy, and this is going to basically be a way to categorize content. So the vocabulary, or you think of it as a category kind of, that I'm going to use is called toppings. There's different toppings that we can put on the ice cream. And I will add some terms here in just a minute, but first I'm going to jump over to Manage Fields. And the basic fields that you can add to taxonomy terms are the name of the term and description of the term, but as I said, I would like people to also add an image, and we have an existing image field here which is in use on posts. When you make a post, you can also add an image. So I'm going to reuse that field here. Click Save, and I am going to make it required because if you were going to add a topping, I want to see a picture of it. There's some other fields here that you don't necessarily need to change for this purpose. You can look at them in more depth later. They're not really the purpose of this demonstration. So now we also have an image field here. So if I go back to list the terms, and I'm going to add a term, and I think I've got, I downloaded a little bit of content and some pictures here. So yeah, I've got some chopped peanuts, and back out here and find a topping. There it is. So it uploads it right away, and now I'm going to save that, and it right away lets me create another one. So we're going to have some chocolate syrup too. And I did also find an image of syrup. Save that. And then one last was, yes, sprinkles. Who can forget sprinkles? So for the purposes of what we're doing here, we have 3 toppings. I'm going to click over to list terms. You can see the terms are there. I can click on chocolate syrup, and you can see the title we gave it, the description we gave it, and then the image right here. And it says there's currently no content that has been tagged with this. So I'm just going to back up a minute here and go to Manage Displays. And I'm going to hide the label for the image because I think that always looks kind of funny. Okay, we may be back to here later, but that's the basics of that. Now I wanted to add an additional content type as well. Sorry for those of you who wanted to get right to the layouts. I just wanted to do a little background work here. So I'm going to, even though vanilla is best, I'm going to create another content type called flavors, because even though we prefer vanilla, there are people who like other flavors as well. And I'm going to hide the authoring information. We don't really need that. Now I'm going to add some fields here, and primarily I'm going to add the image field that we've already seen. And I usually just like to give the images their own directory here so they don't all pile up in the same directory. Once again, I'm going to make it required. You don't always have to do that. And I'm going to add a new field here called toppings. Which toppings do you like on this flavor that you're adding? And we're going to add a term reference. I'm going to make it a drop-down select list. And if you recall, we just added a bunch of terms to the toppings vocabulary, so I'm going to just choose that vocabulary. It's not going to be required. You can add toppings if you want to, but you don't have to. And I'm going to let you choose more than one topping. So let's save those settings. And again, just going to change the display settings a tiny bit here. And we may be back to these after we adjust the layouts. But okay, so now almost done with the setup here. So here's that image field that I mentioned. Add an image here. Check out these scoops. Looks so yummy in that blue bowl. Okay, so now we have our first post here with a picture of vanilla ice cream. We've got the header, we've got the content types. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new flavor. So I'm going to add mint. I'm going to paste in some information about mint ice cream for people who are interested. And I'm going to say, you know what? I can see you putting chocolate syrup on that, but no nuts and no sprinkles. So let's save that one. There's the default view. Now I want to add one more flavor for the demo here, which will be chocolate. Okay, we're almost there, and some people just love chocolate, so they probably will put chocolate syrup on it, and maybe these other two things, who knows. Okay, so now we have a couple things to work with. Thanks for following along, and we've got enough in place now that the next video will be able to cover the new layouts functionality that is available in Backdrop CMS. So stay tuned, follow us if you like, and we'll see you next time.